Hi everybody, this is a video for the teenagers and it's an interesting topic and we're going to go straight to the Bible because it's important that we hear what God thinks about this. But before we go into the specifics, I just want to mention one thing. Before we talk about substance abuse, we need to first address the most important thing, which is God expects us, and it says it in the Bible, to respect the laws of our country. And one of the laws in South Africa is that you shouldn't be drinking alcohol until you're 18 years old. That's when the law allows you to do it. And then once you're allowed to, it's up to you then to manage it and be responsible with it. The same goes for any other substances such as cigarettes or marijuana or any other kinds of drugs. You have to be 18. So if you want to be honoring God and following God, then that's the very first thing that you need to start with is how old are you? All right, but then we're going to move on to the next thing because this affects teenagers as well as adults. And if you're already having substances that can alter your thinking, those can be either alcohol or any form of a drug, then it's important that you know what substance abuse can do to you. But at this point, we're just going to be looking at what God says about it in His Bible, because that's actually our go-to and can help us make wise decisions. Okay, so this assumes that you're dealing with a substance already. Now, keeping in mind, guys, at this point in time in the ancient world, there weren't drugs, there weren't cigarettes, yet they hadn't discovered these properties that make people feel differently, but they would all be included in this. Anything that makes you lose any sense of reality or control would be considered a substance. Okay, but in the Bible, the only substance they had to refer to was alcohol, so we're just going to use the fact that we're going to talk about alcohol specifically, but it applies to the other things as well. Okay, so we've got two verses. I chose one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament, but there is more that the Bible says about it, but we've only got a short time, so let's look at those. The first is from the Proverbs, which says, "Wine is a mocker, beer is a brawler, whoever is led astray by them is not wise." So that's the main focus point. And then one from the New Testament, which is in Ephesians, which says, "Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit." Okay, so let's look at the Old Testament one first. And why I chose a proverb is that the Proverbs are normally giving us instructions for what is the best way to live. Okay, so if you apply these principles, your life is more than likely going to go well. And the summary of the Proverbs passage is that alcohol, whatever version it is, wine, beer, vodka, whatever, when you get led astray by them, as in when you use too much of them and you're no longer thinking in your right mind, you are not wise. Now, wisdom comes from God. When we walk in God's wisdom, our life flourishes. So if we're walking not in wisdom, like it says here, if you get led astray by these things, you are not wise. Your life is going to start to have serious consequences that are destructive. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's not wise to do it. Second thing is, do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Now, most people go, yeah, but Jesus drank wine. The Bible here isn't saying you can't drink alcohol if you are 18, because the Bible also speaks about laws, as we spoke about earlier. Here, what it's saying is, do not get drunk. Now, being drunk just means you've had too much. You're no longer in control. If the cops had to pull you over, your breathalyzer test would be over the limit. Being drunk doesn't necessarily mean you'd have to be falling all over the place, but it means you're not fully in control of your life. The chemicals have now started to have an impact on your thinking or behavior or speech or driving or whatever it is that you're doing. The Bible is super clear, guys. Read it for yourself. Do not get drunk. That's the bottom line. So substance abuse is taking it to the level of drunk or high or whatever. It's not right. Biblically, it's not right. So as Christians, as people who want to follow God and honor Him with our lives, there's your answer. It's not really up for debate. The question is, in your mind, that you have to ask is, do I want to obey God in this area of my life? We've got other people we have to obey too, schools, cops, parents. But the most important thing is, do we want to obey God? Because He's clear on it. It's not a debate. So take a think about that for yourself, and I hope that helps you. A lot of people try and argue around this, but the Bible's super clear. So don't do it if you want to honor God. I hope that helps you today, guys. All right, that's it for now. Bye.